It is, um, there's a song called Diamond in the Back.
Have we talked?
And
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, it was done by Massive Attack, because Massive Attack didn't do the original
No, I
version of it.
love, dude. They do the greatest covers ever.
Yeah. And
You have told me about this song.
the video on that, there's some nudity in the video. The girl does it, like a burlesque style thing. And no one knows if it's a he, she, or do we say he, she? Back then
I
it was
don't
he,
think
she.
so. I think these days we go with non-binary.
No, nobody knew if the person in the thing was, because back then it was called he, she, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it became, I think it's a woman. Just
Okay.
looking at I think it's a biological woman.
Okay.
Either
Noted.
way, it's very, very erotic
I can't wait to
for a
see it.
video. And by the way, my understanding, although I'd never watched MTV, my understanding is that MTV used to play these kind of videos late in the evening on, like the early days of MTV, when it would just be like,
Right.
you know, Jay Giles, My Angel was a Centerfold, and all those kind of things.
Right. Video killed the radio star. We
Yeah,
were raised by MTV. We didn't get babysitters. We had cable.
yeah,
So between MTV and HBO and Nickelodeon, I can tell you that MTV was playing some pretty hot stuff after
yeah,
it's safe harbor. Well, 10 p.m.
yeah. But I know, because I asked him, I said, where did this video hail? And he went, MTV. It was on MTV. And it was like, MTV did that? And it's like,
Well,
oh, yeah.
remember, this is the same network that is still playing the WAP video, the
What's the Bob
Megan the Stallion.
video?
It's not what you think. I'm not insulting
Oh,
you.
WAP.
Yeah.
The WAP. Yeah. Well, Anna and I did a whole thing on the WAP, on the whole song.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, we did a whole thing on that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I probably went into, what if I did a song called My Big Fat Italian Cock or something? Yeah, it wouldn't work, right? But
Yeah, I think people would frown on that. I just hope you're telling people that the WAP is NSNG friendly.
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because there's nothing non-NSNG about eating. I'm not going to even go there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wish I was eating some wet ass pussy today,
My
because
God.
because of Gina. I have this product right here. You see
Uh-huh.
what I have?
Yeah, I know what you have because I suggested it.
Yeah,
It is now you don't even know what this is. I didn't just can I tell them?
yeah. Go on.
Oh, don't smell it. I didn't just suggest macaroni and cheese. I didn't just suggest Kraft macaroni and cheese. I suggested Easy Mac Kraft macaroni and cheese, ubiquitous, growing up in multiple households. It's a styrofoam pouch, which they say is microwave friendly, but it's probably not. I'm guessing some experts you've spoken to say, please don't eat out of this. But you just add a little water to this little styrofoam cup. You boil the noodles in the microwave. Then you add your little cheesy powder or sauce, depending on which one you got. You stir it on up, and it kind of coagulates, and you get Easy Mac.
Yeah, it's not called Easy Mag, but when you told me what to look for in the store, now,
Well, they
first off,
call it that because it's easy for kids to latchkey
right.
kids to make themselves.
Well, first things first. I walk into the grocery store, and I got to find this, and I want to find it without help.
Good
I
luck to you.
want, so I look, they got the big things up, along the
Mhm.
aisles, and I look and I find the one that says pasta. Now, this is
Sure.
a row I never go down. And I go down the row, and there's nothing but, pasta in the box, or
Right.
the cellophane bag or whatever.
Right.
And I walked back and forth like a lunatic, like 3 times, going, I must be missing it. Right. I must be missing this
Uh-huh.
product.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't there. I went up and down every row in Harris Teeter and could not find not only this product. I said, I know they make a bunch of different mac and cheese products, so it's going to have to be here somewhere.
Right.
Right. Like I'll see like the big boxes of it and all that. couldn't find it. I finally had to ask someone because I was just now at this point, I was just spinning my wheels. It was in an area I wouldn't have ever. And by the way, the guy working there knew exactly where it was.
Oh, God love him.
And it wasn't just this. They had the Velveeta version of it.
Sure. Yep.
And they had a few different brands, but you had specified this one.
Yeah.
Got it. Here it is. It was very inexpensive. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't very, very expensive at all.
A dollar something.
Okay.
Maybe.
So on the side, it says the taste you love. I haven't tasted it yet. The fork seems to be getting stuck. In it, like
what
concrete.
color? What color is it? Is it a color you found in nature?
I guess you could find this color in nature on the side of a boat that needs barnacles removed. So yes, you can find it in nature, but probably in the ocean.
Oh my God.
All right. So it says the taste you love, and here's what it says: no artificial flavors.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. No artificial preservatives, no artificial flavors, and no artificial dyes.
That is shocking.
So apparently this color exists in nature.
It's sort of, I mean, neon. Is neon a color? Because it's neon.
Not really.
Like neon yellow.
Yeah, it's more of a yellow.
It's almost, it's like mango colored, but more intense.
Mustardy. Kitchens were this color when I was a kid. Like in back in the 80s, the 70s, every kitchen you walked into was this color.
Yes, exactly. I have the ingredients. I don't know if you want to go take a bite first or go over those.
All right, let's take a bite first.
A big bite.
All right, now, have I ever had this before in my life? That's the first question.
Have you ever had Kraft macaroni and cheese, little individual cups?
I have not. Now, I have had mac and cheese.
Sure.
Because I came from a household where everything was made from scratch by my great-grandmother, my grandmothers, or my mom. And so I have had mac and cheese.
But you've had homemade from scratch mac and cheese?
Yeah, where they had they would probably put half and half, and they would grate some cheese.
And they bake it.
All right, that's the second thing.
Oh.
We would have macaroni and cheese at my high school, and it would come out like a square because they were cutting it out of a pan. Right. And you always wanted the end piece because the cheese was burnt. Yes. It was crunchy, cheesy. So I remember, everybody going, give me an end piece, give me an end piece. So there was only so many of those. So I'm not unfamiliar with mac and cheese.
But this is ubiquitous Kraft mac and cheese that everybody besides you has had at some point in their life, multiple times.
Now, I do have a cold for the first time in a couple of years, but I can smell enough to be able to smell it.
Good. It should cut through.
It doesn't have a cheesy smell. It smells more like cooked pasta. Yes. I'm getting more cooked pasta than cheese.
Because did you cook it or did Serena cook it?
I did. I put it in the microwave per the instructions, 3 minutes.
Okay, so you
mix
saw
in stuff afterwards.
So you saw when you opened the lid that there's noodles, but also like a powder all over it. And they're like, don't worry about that. That's supposed to be in there because that powder, I guess, activates the something. So it's like kind of sticky.
I read the instructions. That would have confused me, but I knew about the powder. I saw the powder. You cook it in that, and then you
add the cheese.
You add the cheesy stuff. Now I'm going to have you read the ingredients after I taste it because I don't want the ingredients to somehow influence my taste here. All right, so here goes.
Big bite.
Do I have to do a big bite?
Wait! Before you eat it,
go on.
Stir it around in the microphone. Because it's quite a noise.
I don't know if you can hear that.
Oh, we can't. It's just kind of goopy and zombie-esque.
It sounds like a porn film.
Yes, exactly. Here he goes. Big bite.
Is this big enough?
Yes. In it goes. He's chewing it. His eyes are up like he's thinking. He doesn't look pleased, but he doesn't look too angry. Let's see what he's thinking.
First off, I know there's probably a ton of sodium in here, but there's
Uh-huh.
no, I would have a lot more salt mixed with whatever this is.
Interesting.
It's not salty, like good salt enough.
Right, right. Yes.
And the flavor palette, it has nothing to do with cheese. Like I do not taste cheese in here. I can't smell cheese. I smell pasta. It smells like pasta and it doesn't taste like cheese. I'm going to put another small bite and try to hit another part of my tongue. I'm putting that
Okay.
much more in my mouth.
About a half the amount. That wasn't a third grader coming home starving from school. That was like a scientist trying to figure out what he's eating.
There is, you know how when we did the Cheetos, I said this is not something that you would taste in nature.
Yeah, the hot Cheetos.
This is not something you would taste in nature. Still, I can't taste the cheese. It's gummy. There's a
Yes.
lot of gummy stuff in here. Now I'm interested. Now I was able to read this. In this small packet, this is a pretty, look at my hand size.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, my hand is bigger than the small packet. And this thing is not full to the top. It's only halfway.
Right.
That's all you get.
Yeah.
Half of this is full. I thought after I cooked it, it would bubble up and be full to the top.
Nope.
That never happened. It's still the same. It's only halfway. Gina, is that your experience with this product?
Indeed it is. Indeed
Okay.
it is.
There's 40 grams of carbs in here. By definition, there are more carbs in here than in a Coca-Cola.
Oh my God.
Okay. So I did see that it was 7 grams of protein, which is neither here nor there. I mean, toenails have that much. And it's hardly any fat in it. So there's no fat, there's no flavor to this. And it's 40 grams. I couldn't imagine people give this to their kids as not this is their meal.
Yeah.
This is an
Absolutely.
abomination of a meal. Gina, can you read now? Read the ingredients, because you
Yeah.
can't read it on here. It's so tiny. I'll show the audience. It's
Yeah. No, I got you.
tiny there. You can't read it.
All right, I'm just going to start from the top to the bottom, and if we know us, something tells me you'll ask if something's in here. I'll say no, and then I'll find it.
Right.
All right. Enriched macaroni product. That's wheat flour, glycerol monosterate, niacin ferrous sulfate, thiamine, whatever. Mononitrate, vitamin B1, riboflavin, vitamin B2, folic acid, cheese sauce mix. That's whey, milk, corn syrup, milk fat, palm oil, milk protein, salt, maltodextrin. And then it says contains less than 2% of calcium carbonate, sodium triphosphate, medium chain triglycerides, dried buttermilk, citric acid, sodium phosphate, cream, calcium, non-fat dry milk, guar gum, cheese culture, paprika, turmeric, again, all less than 2%. Then modified food starch, maltodextrin, acetylated glycerides, salt, medium chain triglycerides, contains wheat and milk.
Okay. Does this sound like anything anyone should eat?
I mean, it doesn't sound like food. It sounds like science.
It's just a science experiment. It's not food. I can't understand. Like if someone said, Vinny, you have to eat this whole thing, like you got to finish this, I would take it upstairs. I would probably, add a couple of tablespoons of heavy cream to it, some cayenne pepper, and a ton of salt, mix it up, reheat it, and then maybe I can gut it down. But there's nothing healthy in here.
And again, there's not much in there to begin with, but you couldn't eat the whole thing.
Oh God, no! I've taken 2 bites. As a matter of fact, I always have coffee with me, but I have a quadruple espresso here because in the next show we have to try another product.
But also, when people go, "Oh, give it to the dog," you would never give this to Bonzo, would you?
God, no. As a matter of fact, tonight Bonzo, our neighbor, Jewish woman,
Okay.
afraid of fat.
Oh, that sounds about right.
That
My people.
sounds like
Those
your
are
mom.
that's my people. Yeah.
She comes over and she hands Serena, but love this couple. They're our best friends on the street. And she says to Serena, here's a bag of chicken meat. And Serena goes, oh, okay, because her husband gave me a bunch of quails,
Ooh.
last week. We all hunt and we share and the whole thing. And he hunts because he's not Jewish.
I was gonna say I'm gonna need some backstory.
Yeah. He married into the faith.
Got
Anyway,
it.
she brings over, I said, and the chicken we didn't get to cook it. So it's like in the fridge for 3 days. So at that point, it's iffy.
Yeah.
So I boiled it up for Bonzo. I just threw it in the pot, boiled it, and
Sure.
Bonzo. I said to Serena, I said, why did she give you this? She goes, you see that little bit of fat? She goes, she's afraid of fat. She's one of those
Yeah.
women that's absolutely afraid of fat.
Yeah.
You know?
And because of that, Bonzo eats like the organic influencer king that he is.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you see him over there on his bed?
I see the little baby
That little brown thing.
sleeping.
He's enjoying that fireplace. There's
So
a
that's,
fireplace right off to the
of
side.
course there is. And so again, when people say, oh, just give it to the dog, you wouldn't even give that Kraft mac and cheese to the dog.
No.
No.
It's
Okay.
not happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is it again. And I speak from experience, ubiquitous thing that we've all eaten as kids. We've all eaten on road trips. I mean, everybody who's listening to this has had Kraft macaroni and cheese more than a dozen times in their life. And you can't even wolf down 3 bites of it.
I couldn't even get a second bite. When I was trying to retaste it, I had to eat like a little nibble of it. But
Yeah.
there is, Gina, do you find this flavor? Do you add stuff to it when you've had it?
It's funny you should say that because I think I've said this before. That particular, that kind of easy, shortcut macaroni and cheese to me, and it didn't as a kid, but as an adult, it tastes like Play-Doh. And I think it's whatever that powder is that comes on it that's supposed to coagulate it. It tastes like Play-Doh to me. So yes, does Dr. Gina doctor it up? Absolutely. God, when's the last time we had macaroni and cheese? I couldn't tell you, but when we had the little steps on, I grated fresh cheddar and added a little whipping cream and a little seasoning. And I think we did God, this was a while ago, like a hamburger, I put in like ground beef and like that was our Midwestern hot dish, dinner for the night.
Right.
But would I just and again, it was, we don't do that very often, but when we're in a pinch. So would I hand him a cup of Easy Mac and say, have a good lunch, kid? No, because I wouldn't be able to look you in the eye.
It would be malnutrition.
Yeah.
Parents that feed this to their kids should be looked at. And I'm not being funny in any way, shape, or form.
I know.
We take, kids away. Oh, the parents smoked in front of the kid. Guess what? Let's go back to smoking in front of the kids and make them up a piece of meat. We need to go back to that. We need more smoking and less macaroni and cheese. We were healthier back then. This just in. Remember when I had the Pop-Tart and I told you my mouth felt like it had a coating on it?
Yes.
That coating is now coming on. Same kind of coating.
What?
Not as bad as when I ate the Pop-Tart. That was just, do you know what Dr. Titianer's is? It was invented down in New Orleans. It was a mouthwash. They made it as during the Civil War. Dr. Titianer's was, to pour in wounds and everything.
Okay.
And it works as a mouthwash. You have to mix it. It's a very strong mouthwash. I keep some available. It takes me a year or two to go through it. When I was done with the podcast, I had to go upstairs and put the Titianer in my mouth, and I couldn't get the
coating.
And then after I did the Titianer, I still had the coating in my mouth.
What do you think that's like a shelf stabilizer or a cornstarch?
It's got to be some kind of starchy thing that I'm just never. I guess people are just used to having it all the time. I haven't eaten that kind of stuff in the better part of 30 years. I don't have a remembering.
Right.
I don't remember it.
Well, and you even said about the Pop-Tart, I believe that it was chalky.
Right. And this tastes chalky to me also.
Right.
But again,
So-
it's dead of any look. Okay, listen, I'm Italian. I grew up in Cajun country. I like flavor. I like complexity. I like it all. Right. Everyone thinks, oh, Cajuns they just throw cayenne pepper and everything's super hot. I've worked on my palate my entire life. And now I'm dogging it out with this crap.
So what you need is some Tony Chachere's.
Now you sound like my mother.
Because Andy loves it and we always keep it in the cabinet.
Yeah. And, unlike Anna's stuff, Satchery has other crap in it.
Oh,
it does.
Of course it does. Andy's like, whenever he makes burgers, he'll put a little Tony Chachere's in it.
Everybody likes the Tony Chachere's.
It's no barbecue dust. Trust me.
No, it's not. Listen, Serena puts the barbecue, Anna Vicina's barbecue dust in the meatballs.
I saw that. I saw that on Instagram.
It
works.
Yeah.
So something that we all grew up loving, and the commercials, big, bright, fast, and music, and Kraft Mac, and Easy Mac, and macaroni and cheese. Vinny's not picking up what the rest of us were putting down our entire childhood.
I wonder if Bonzo would actually eat. Should we try to give him one piece and see what he does? I mean,
to be fair, dogs eat dog shit, so let's see what happens.
My dog eats cat shit. Hey, Bonzo. Bonzi Bonz. Come here, Pumps. Come here.
He's too comfortable.
Hey, Bonzo. I got some food. Want a treat? Bonzo.
Is he alive? He knows what you're eating. He wants to.
Here's the thing.
Bring it over there.
All right, there's food over here. If I had a steak over here, he would be sitting at attention, begging.
Yeah, the way you've brought him up, he probably doesn't know that
he doesn't know that this is a food stuff because they can smell. Hey, Bonzi Bonz. Hey.
He's not moving.
Come here. You want some food? Come here.
Baby, there you go.
Let's see if he does it. You can see him in the mirror, right?
Yeah, sort of ambling over. Whoa, what do you got going on over here? Now I can't see what's happening, so you're gonna have to tell us. He's inspecting it.
What do you think? He ate it, but then again, his reference is cat shit. Okay, that's how you get Bonds. Daddy's not giving you that stuff.
Did you give him the whole thing?
No, I gave him one little noodle.
Oh. And he just shook it off and he's going back to bed.
Yeah. Now, do you know a dog who's sitting at a table? They know when there's food on the table.
And he can see that it's not done.
Folks, if you don't believe this, go watch the video of this. This is going to be on YouTube. The dog his back is to me.
He has his back to you in protest.
Yeah, he's turned his back on me. I'm shunned.
That's funny. He didn't go insane over it.
No.
He sampled it and he went right back to bed.
If that was chicken, salmon skin, steak, anything like that, he would be sitting at attention right here.
Baby.
There's hot food sitting on this thing. He can smell whatever to him, that doesn't smell like food.
Wow. Yeah. Not only there's no begging, he literally just left and it was like you never called him over.
Well, Gina, I gave it to him from my hand.
Yeah.
And the first thing he did was he put it in his mouth and then he
dropped it.
And then he ate it off of the floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's definitely your dog.
Yeah. Sorry, Bonds. Daddy will give you something real in a little while.
Yeah. He's never going to trust you again.
Yeah. That dog is like, what the hell did you just do? All right. Gina, before we go, any quick story that I can...
Yeah, there's something I wanted to bring up to you because I know that a lot of us kind of get off on making you mad. And I don't know if you'll feel sweet vindication or if you'll be rip shit angry that we're just coming around to this thought. So this is my gift to you after forcing you to eat something that I knew you would not enjoy. Now, the next thing, I don't know, you could like it. We'll get into that next week. But I knew that this was not going to be a palate pleaser.
Next week, folks, Twix.
I mean, who doesn't love a Twix? Vinny, I will be, come on. You love sweets.
You got to tune in, Gina. You got to tune in.
I know. Now, I know that, whatever, we'll get into that next week. But let's give Vinny a little gift because scientists, according to the journal Nutrients, They are finally coming around to the study that suggests, it only suggests, that eating eggs may be good for your heart. That if you eat 1 to 3 eggs each week, you could reduce the likelihood of cardiovascular disease by 60%. Or if you eat 4 to 7 eggs, you could cut the risk of heart disease by 75%. So people are catching up. Tell your neighbor, tell my mom that they are merely suggesting that eggs will not kill you. In fact, they could help.
Would you call my girlfriend, Teresa Strasser, and
Yeah.
tell her that one egg that Gregor tells her per week will cause type 2 diabetes, that he was once again wrong?
Yeah. In her defense, we used to go out to brunch all the time, and I've seen her eat many an omelet. So hopefully she'll agree right off the bat.
No, she told me she eats omelet, and she told me she feeds her kids meat and eggs and everything. She's a
Anything
good
they
mom.
want.
Yeah,
Yes,
and yeah,
anything.
she cooks it all for her family. She just won't eat it herself.
Yeah, when they're barbecuing ribs and, stuff
Yeah.
like that, have at it. They're growing boys. They're in sports. It's just not her thing.
Yeah. Okay. How is it that science is just coming around to what my great grandmother from Calabria knew? She was born in the 1800s.
But she was Harvard educated, right?
Well, not quite. She spoke 2 languages.
Oh, okay.
She spoke English and Italian. So she had that going for her.
Okay, but she was a scholar.
I think she had the equivalent of, well, she came here when she was 13. So she was taught in Italy up until 13. I'm not sure she got much education after that.
Really?
Probably not. Super smart woman.
So in terms of scholastics, possibly a 7th or 8th grade education.
Give or take. And
Wow.
she had a bunch of daughters and a son. She and Papa Tripodi had 1, 2, 3, 4 daughters and a son. And one of them is still alive. She's not doing well. She's close to 100 now. My grandmother was the first to die of cancer. But all of her kids were super smart. My mom's got a couple of masters plus 30 hours towards doctorates and subjects. I mean, my mom was one of the smartest people I've ever met. But no, I don't think she had more than a 6th grade education, spoke 2 languages, and knew that
she knew.
eggs were good for you. Now,
Yeah.
if scientists would have just gone down to Louisiana, right down to Bayou Lafourche, and spoken to this old Italian woman, because she was alive for 100 years, eating eggs every day. Her husband, Papa Tripodi, he died. You know what he died of?
What?
Grief.
Oh, that is not the first time I've heard that.
Died of grief.
Literally, like people say, a broken heart.
When my grandmother died, he just started going downhill. He was 99. Oh. He was about 10 years older than Mama Virginia, his wife. I think it was an arranged marriage from families back in Italy, and they shipped here living. And yeah, what a great guy he was. And yeah, he died of grief right before his 100th birthday. And up until that point, still spry. But just as soon as his daughter died, boom, that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And they knew that eating, for lack of a better way to put it, whole foods, non-processed, which lucky for them, there weren't a lot of back then. Yeah. You could live for a century. And like you always say, because I think about this a lot, it's not that your family didn't eat pasta. It wasn't the main dish.
No, it was what you ate to fill out a dish. It was peasant food. Pasta has always been peasant food. I mean, pasta puttanesca. Putta means whore. It's the whore's pasta. That's what it is. Puttanesca is
right.
Pasta of the whore. They couldn't afford meat, so they would just make this tomatoey sauce and pour it on their pasta.
So when we see things like at Olive Garden, the endless pasta bowl, that's no more Italian than eating Chef Boyardee out of a can.
No, you've spent time in Italy, right?
Once, yeah.
Once. Where were you in
Yes.
Rome?
We went to Rome, we went to Florence, we went to Venice.
The fish in Rome.
So much seafood.
Yeah.
People don't realize.
And it's like, the seafood, and it's cooked in butter and everything. And then you'll have like a little swirl of pasta on the side,
Yes.
or rice, sometimes rice.
Right.
People think you go to Italy and it's like the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Or I've never been to an Olive Garden. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I've seen the commercials, when you hear your family, it's like in my house, when you're here, you're fucking lost is what we
when you're here, if you're family, you need a restraining order.
Yeah. When you're here, you need to get out of here. I couldn't imagine eating at an Olive Garden. Have you ever been to an Olive Garden?
Please. I'm from Kansas. That was one of the fancier places we would go for a special occasion. When we would go every once in a blue moon, because, it wasn't free, sometimes I would see the older kids on their way to prom eating at Olive Garden. And I thought, when I get older, I want to go to prom and eat at Olive Garden and be super fancy like those kids. By the time I got to high school, I kind of knew which end was up, but that was one of the premier places when I was a kid.
Not for us. I mean, we would go eat out. Email Seafood was like right down in Convent, right across the river. You just cross the Mississippi River and go to Convent. They just closed Emails about a year or so ago. It'd been open. My dad used to play music there in the 40s, in the 50s.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, remember, we were quite landlocked. So Red Lobster, by the way, also too expensive for us. So I never really had Red Lobster.
Nobody in Louisiana would go to a Red Lobster.
Of course not even for the Cheddar Bay biscuit.
I don't even think they had a Red Lobster because there's so many actual seafood restaurants. As a matter of fact, I used to talk about this when I lived in New Orleans. I would watch Johnny Carson, and they would show Red Lobster commercials because I guess they bought time across the nation.
Sure.
And I would always ask my friends, where's this Red Lobster they're talking about? And it's like, it didn't exist in our area.
Yeah.
But they were running a national commercial because, I mean, a place like a Red Lobster would not work in a place like Louisiana where you have
couldn't compete.
Yeah. I mean, where you got Middendorf's. How are you going to go to Red Lobster? You have Mike Anderson's. You're not going to go to Red Lobster. I mean, if you want to slum it, you go to Don's Seafood. Sorry, Don's. It's just, you're just not, And for my friends over in Gonzales, Snow's does a good job.
Wow. You're really giving out quite the
listen, I'll tell you the places. I mean, my buddy Butch Daigle dated Kate. I want to say Snow.
I'm sorry, wait, what was his last name?
Daigle. That's a big
I thought you said something else.
Dago?
Yeah.
No. Daigle is a big name down in Daigle.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a
never heard it.
name down there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big Cajun-y name.
Huh.
Yeah. And oh yeah, the good old days. Gina, I'm so sorry I had to taste whatever I tasted.
I'm sorry.
Folks, if you want to see my first video review of this book, let me show you guys the book.
Oh, here he comes.
Hey here. Want to see my first video review of this on Amazon? Go to VinnieTortorich.com. And right there, you click through to the Amazon page. You'll see the Vinnie. When you're a big stud celebrity like me, Amazon gives you your own page.
Yeah.
They don't just give those away. And I can put whatever I want on that page. And now they let us do video reviews. So My Extra Mom is my first video review, Gina Grad's book. Gina's got some exciting stuff we're going to mention in the near future that she's doing with that book.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to help her in every which way I can. Even if you're not a step parent, even if you're not a parent, go buy this book. That's all I'm going to say. That's not all I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you this too. My company, NSNG Foods, the ultra fat, everybody loves the ultra fat. Mike Dawson, whose voice you hear at the top of this show, I'm pretty sure he just lives in ultra fat at this point.
Oh, yeah.
He might be the biggest fan of ultra fat. Go get the ultra fat 20% off, promo code Vinnie for the month. What month are we in? March. For the month of March, all month long. Now, just like with the Pure Vitamin Club thing, don't come to me on the last day of March and go, I meant to, or please, can you? I don't have sympathy for you. I'm telling you early on, go promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, 20% off, one-time deal. If you get a subscription, it'll be the 20% off, and then you'll go down to the extra low cost of the subscription price. We can't combine those two because I would actually be losing a shit ton of money. So yeah, we bring it down to the quick for you guys because we want everyone to try it. So go do all of that. We have the super fan page. We have the nickel and diamond you PDF. Everyone loves that thing. So if you want to be nickel and dimed and then lose a lot of weight in the process, go check it out. On behalf of Gina Grad, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with enthusiasm.